What up, y'all? It's your boy Dom and Biv from another episode of Speak On It. Let people know that we live on YouTube and Facebook. Jam-packed show for y'all. Got basketball, college football. Um, we got NFL. We got a couple of NBA stuff that's on tap for y'all. So without further ado, I want to jump right into it. I want to jump right into something that happened Saturday that had me thinking. I couldn't wait till Monday. I wanted to ask you on Saturday, but I was like, man, I'm gonna wait for the show. Actually, one on Monday. Um, but Mullins, Dan Mullins, or Florida, Bama. It was a duel. It was a good game. But I left that game feeling like Dan Mullins cost Florida a game. I legit left the game feeling like, what? What was you thinking? What was you doing? Because if Kyle had a little bit more time, there's no doubt in my mind that that he would have won the game. The way he was moving the ball, the way he was dealing in the second half, there's no doubt in my mind that he would have won. They got the stop that they needed. They got the scores when they needed them, and he needed one last chance and one last shot. And his coach, I feel as though, robbed him of that. I left that game feeling like how I felt in the World Series. Like, did he just cost my man the World Series? I feel like Dan Mullins robbed the Florida team of a chance maybe to go in and win the game and maybe get into the playoff battle, and maybe he robbed Kyle Trask of a Heisman winning moment. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm gonna say he definitely could take some of the blame. That's for sure. But I wouldn't solely put it on him, because there were some plays that was left on the field too. It was like even the defense started to make plays when they needed to make plays in the second half as well, man. Because if at one point it looked like it was getting ready to get real ugly, but in the second half, the offense was making plays, the defense was making plays when they needed to make plays, getting off the field. I say he takes. He's the coach. He gonna take majority of the blame. He should take majority of the blame. I don't think any of the players did anything in my opinion that was out of character. I thought Kyle showed himself well again, and hopefully they treat him right with the Heisman voting. But he definitely showed himself well. I don't think he hurt or made himself look bad in any way. But this is another opportunity for Dan Mullins to showcase himself on a big stage in a big game. And in my opinion, he dropped the ball.
I think I'm with you. I feel like some of the play calls, I was like, why are we doing QB draws or QB dives in those moments? Some of the plays, some of the schemes. Like, I'm like, y'all haven't been able to run the ball all game. Why you run the ball there when Kyle Trask is legit balling? He's legit picking this defense apart. And then you went in. You was giving Bama the ball back. You had all three. Well, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go back. You had all three timeouts. Driving. You called one timeout because you couldn't get a play in early. That was. I'm like, okay, Dan Mullins. I don't know what you're doing. Okay, but I mean, it was either take the 5. It was either take the 5 yards or save the timeout. In my opinion, in that point, in that part, and I always question coaches when they do this. To me, time is more valuable than yardage. That's just my personal opinion. I possibly probably take that 5, save my timeouts. But nonetheless, he took the timeout, went up, went in and got the first down, went on to score, and then he called a timeout to kick a 2-point to go for 2. I feel as though if you had those 2 timeouts, the way your defense was playing, the way your offense was playing, you at least give Kyle Trask an opportunity to drive down the field and actually have a Heisman winning moment. It's like what we talked about early on Saturday. Kyle Trask needed a Herculean Vince Young type effort, and I feel as though that he was trending that way as far as getting his team in a position to win, and to score. But I feel as though the coach robbed him of that just by clock management and some of the play calls that he made in specific spots. It was questionable to me, and I feel as though that because instantly after that, I had to go look up Dan Muller's record. Like, man, if Dan Muller's on the hot seat after this, should he be fired after this? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pump my brakes. My man did win 2 bowl games. You know what I mean? And he's had 2 double-digit wins at Florida. So I was like, let me pump my brakes on my man. But that moment was like, damn, what was you thinking? What was you doing? You don't call 2 timeouts in that moment.
It was one of those situations where I think he was thinking about the right here, right now, and not playing the long game. And it probably came back to bite him. So, especially the timeout for the 2-point conversion, I always feel like you should have 4 to 5 plays. Those are my 2-point conversion. Pick from one of those 4 to 5 plays, depending on how the defense has been playing and how my offense has been playing. I'm not a fan of calling timeouts for a 2-point conversion play. I'm not. Now the defense wants to call a timeout after the way you have lined. That's understandable. But you as an offense calling a timeout to get the right 2-point conversion play, I think that should be part of the game planning for the week.
I agree with you. I wholeheartedly 100% agree with you. So yeah, other than that, I think again Kyle Trask played his butt off. I'm with you. He did have a couple of throws, a couple of plays that he did leave on the field, but I feel that that's college. The only person that didn't leave anything, well, I'm sorry, he left 1 play on the field, and Najee Harris, where he ran a wrong route and hit my man in the shoulder. He said that was on him, but the only person who didn't leave anything on the field was that guy, Najee Harris. That man had the game for the ages. SEC record, did his thing. Yeah, I mean, Bama, shout out to them, hats off. But it makes me think, since we're talking about that game, it just makes me think of there's no way you can give Mac Jones the Heisman. And that's just in my personal opinion. Because that guy won the SEC championship outstanding offensive player. The other guy went off as well. And you got your benefit, and I know your stance on it. You're a benefactor of those 2 guys. But there's other players who aren't operating with what you have. They aren't operating with what you have.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. Like, I don't think Mac Jones is putting up the numbers that he's putting up without the weaponry that he has around him. That's just being honest, but at the same time, it's not his fault. It's not his fault. Well, what I do believe, though, is we've got to expand. We've got to figure out a way to diminish what quarterbacks do. And I'm not taking anything away from them, but I do believe they get, especially in today's offenses, where a 5-yard hitch turns into an 80-yard touchdown, and the quarterback, he gets all those yards. Like, I don't think he should get all that yak, but that's just me. That's just me. He shouldn't get all that yak. Now, I understand he can throw the perfect pass on a 5-yard slant and hit a guy in stride, and it's because the pass was in the perfect place that he was able to catch it in stride. So that I understand all of that. But when I catch the ball 5 yards out and I make a guy miss, and then I break 3-4 more tackles, that quarterback didn't do nothing but throw the ball to me. That's all he did. And I just feel like there's got to be a way that you can separate their numbers, because these guys on the outside, and especially running backs, they have just been devalued, period. They're not getting the respect that they deserve. What Najee Harris was able to do on Saturday night was phenomenal, and so was Travis Etienne. He was great as Travis, as great as Trevor was on Saturday. Travis Etienne was just as good as Trevor Lawrence on Saturday night. And he was just as big because he didn't have a great game against Notre Dame either. So, but I don't know. I don't know, like, how do you evaluate quarterbacks and running backs and receivers equally without having to try to take something away from one of the other ones. So
I'm with you because, like you said, quarterbacks don't get the bulk of the blame. They also won't get the bulk of the credit, regardless of how they perform, right? So no matter how they perform, when people look at that Baltimore game, the 2001 Baltimore or 2000 Baltimore team, right? Quarterback, Trent Dilfer. Trent Dilfer was the quarterback. People say Trent Dilfer won the Super Bowl. Like, Trent Dilfer got a Super Bowl, you know what I mean? And let's say Dan Marino don't got one. Trent Dilfer was able to win the Super Bowl. No. Trent Dilfer was along for the ride for the Super Bowl. Brad Johnson got a Super Bowl 2002. Brad Johnson got a Super Bowl with the Bucks. No, I mean, he does, but that's not the name. That's not the first name that you should mention. But like you said, because he's a quarterback and he plays at that position, those are going to be the names that first come out of your mouth. Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, those type of players. So I'm with you. Like, we have to figure out a way to put those players in their proper context. I mean, like, again, Matt Jones, what he's doing is awesome. But he benefits. Najee Harris, what Najee Harris was doing on Saturday, like you said, he did a hitch and a slant. Hitch route, slant route, boom, I know Mac Jones threw the ball. But what happened afterwards was all Najee Harris on matter of fact, all 3 of his catching touchdowns was all Najee Harris. All of them. The one slant, he took like 2-3 defenders into the end zone. I think he did on both hitch and slants. But the one he threw in the flats and the spin move he put on the defender, that's Najee Harris as well. Like, Matt Jones gets the credit for those things, but that's all Najee Harris. But Matt Jones is the one that they're not even talking about Najee Harris in the Heisman Trophy, in the Heisman race. Talking about Matt Jones.
Yeah.
Because of what Matt Jones has done. No, Najee Harris has done these things. And I was thinking about, I think they ran for like 200 yards. They ran for like 200 yards or something like that. How Matt Jones feeds off of the play action and stuff like that. He benefits from that. So I'm with you, man. Like, we have to figure out a way to put these receivers or these quarterbacks where they belong. And I know Heisman has become a quarterback award. But if I'm thinking about the best player, to me, the best player on that team is not Mac Jones. Mac Jones isn't even the most impressive player on that team, having the most impressive year. He's not having the most impressive year to me. That would be Devontae Smith and what he's doing. So, again, we need to figure out a way to identify who's doing what. And again, we know the system is a flawed system. But at the end of the day, I'm with you on your campaign. Either we need to change it or don't have that. And I'm talking about with the Heisman Trophy because Like, we can't keep awarding or giving the award away to people who aren't even the best player on their team.
I'm with you on that.
All right. Let's jump to the NFL real quick. Let's talk the Jets Rams game. By the way, I want to shout out what my man said real quick. Well, since we're talking about the Heisman, Trevor Lawrence, I think he got a legit shot. Just want to say that since we were talking about the Heisman, and I actually think he'll win it.
I think he won it. I think he won it Saturday.
I think he's gonna win it. I think he won it. I think he won it Saturday. So yeah, wanted to say that real quick. But to the Jets, the reason why we brought up Trevor Lawrence is because did the Jets lose in their win on Sunday?
They definitely didn't help themselves. That's for sure. They put themselves in a battle when they were the clear front runners to get the number 1 pick, and now they're in a situation where the Jaguars could be the team to get the number 1 pick. So,
Vegas, is it Vegas or one of the reports says the Jaguars has a 76% chance of getting the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
Jets got 26% chance, where they had a 90-some% chance of getting it before Sunday.
And the Rams played like they thought the Jets were going to lose on purpose on Sunday. Just being real, the Rams played like they thought the Jets were just going to come out and roll over.
The Rams came out like they ain't had no game plan. Like like they Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was watching film on, or was watching 30 for 30 or something like that.
Yeah, man.
Watching ESPN and everything. That's how the Rams felt. That's what it felt like. That's what it looked like. But I think that the Jets lost because I don't see the Jaguars winning another game. The Jaguars don't have a winnable game on their roster, in my opinion. But maybe the Colts game, because that's the only victory of the season with the Colts.
But I don't see the Jaguars winning another game.
I don't see them beat that game either.
But at the same time, I'm gonna be real. I'm just looking at it from a different lens. Maybe the Jets saved themselves a headache.
Yes.
Without having to deal with whether or not Trevor is going to come. Maybe they saved themselves a headache.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was talking to somebody earlier and said the exact same thing. I said maybe the Jets, this was a blessing in disguise for the Jets. The reason being is now the pressure isn't to pick to pick Trevor Lawrence and find a suitor for Sam Darnold. Now what you do is you keep because you weren't getting the first round pick for Sam Darnold. Nobody was gonna give you a first rounder for Sam Darnold. And now you get to keep your first round pick. And now you can pick somebody who's solid at the number 2 spot, which for me, if I was them, I would take the tackle out of Oregon, pair him with Mekhi Becton. Now you got bookings for the next 10, 15 years to protect Sam Darnold, and then you get them weapons, or you trade out of that pick and still take the offensive lineman. So I feel as though they put themselves in a great situation because now you can really move forward with Sam Darnold. You move on from Adam Gates, who is trash. He's been trashing everywhere he's went. People can say, well, he was good in Denver. I seen what the offense looked like when Peyton Manning wasn't there. I seen what the offense looked like. I see what the offense looked like with an old hobble Peyton Manning as well. You could say they won the Super Bowl, but that was because of defense. Adam Gates, you legit has done nothing without Peyton Manning. who is your biggest endorsement and biggest endorsement. You haven't done anything. You had Ryan Tannehill, and maybe you was holding him back. Maybe you was holding Ryan Tannehill back. If I see Ryan Tannehill looking like what he looking like, huh?
That's the way it looks.
Right. I see Ryan Tannehill looking like out of the shadows of Adam Gates. He look like NFL. He legit. If it was another year, he looked like an MVP candidate. If it was another year. So let me see what Sam Darnold looks like from under the shadows of Adam Gates. We see what the Dolphins look like when they get another coach in the playoff hunt. So I want to see what Sam Darnold legit looks like with another coach, because Sam Darnold has had flashes. Adam Gates wasn't there his rookie season. Sam Darnold has had flashes of, okay, that could be the guy. He can be good. He looks good. Then he had other moments where I'm seeing ghosts. And I think that's the ghost of Adam Gates. The ghost of Adam Gates. That's what he's seeing. So I want to see. I legit want to see it. And I'm with you. Maybe this is a blessing in disguise for the Jets.
Yeah, like even if you're high on Trevor and the Jags take him, you can still get another quarterback at 2. You can move down, get multiple picks in other rounds. You could do whatever. And this is what I'll say. This isn't a franchise that's 1 or 2 players away from making a strong push. This is a franchise, to me, where a number 2 pick with a quarterback is not more important than maybe 4 or 5 picks sporadically throughout the draft where I can add depth. I'd rather have the depth than go and get that one phenom right now, because you bring in the one phenom for what? To put him out there with a bunch of scraps that's not going to be there, that aren't good. It's not going to help him get better. It's just going to give him a lot of growing pains. No, I'd rather build the rest of the team up, especially in the trenches, both sides of the football, and then find that quarterback.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you, because I feel as though I think you will be closer if moving that pick. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna tell you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Don't get me wrong. If they had the number 1 overall pick, you have to trade.
I'm taking Trevor. Yes.
I would take Trevor outside over anybody else. You know what I mean? And then I will move on from Sam Darnold. I'll figure out from there. But now that I don't have that option, I need to figure out, should I move this pick and build around Sam.
This is almost like the Raiders situation. Almost exactly like the Raiders situation. Other than you got a guaranteed top 5 pick, they had Khalil Mack. That's it. That's the only difference. Gruden was able to turn Khalil Mack into multiple picks. What are you gonna do with this number 2 pick? Are you gonna take the pick, or are you gonna turn that into multiple picks to add depth to your team?
And I'm with you. They got the GM who knows what to do with the picks. He got a borderline Pro Bowler at left tackle, and he's a rookie. He moved Jamal Adams. Got two first rounders. Replaced him with Austin Davis, who's actually playing very good football. He knows how to pick. He knows how to draft. So I'm with you. You have a guy in there who you drafted, I want to say 3 years ago, who you thought was the franchise quarterback. What's changed? Sam Darnold hasn't had. I'm gonna pull up his stats real quick, or his numbers real quick. I don't think Sam Darnold has had a terrible season in any season that he's played. Pulling him up real fast.
I think his overall numbers probably aren't going to look bad. It's going to be game to game. It's going to be game to game where he has those moments. And like again, it goes to me. It's about the coaching because we talked about it before. Crowder balls.
Yep.
Robbie Anderson balls.
Yep.
You had Le'Veon Bell. Like, it wasn't personnel. I don't believe that it was strictly personnel. The Jets personnel, they had decent. Think about the defense. They had Jamal Adams. You had C.J. Mosley. Like, you had, like, they had guys. To me, it was the coaching, and you had to make changes there. I think they moved the GM a couple of years ago, right? A few years ago.
He came in this year.
Okay, so they finally moved on from the GM. Now it's time to move on from the coach. And I'm not saying that Sam Darnold is the answer, but I'd rather, if I'm not getting Trevor, I might see what I have in Sam for another year. While I continue to use the assets that I've got from the trades that I've made to build the rest of the team up.
I'm with you. I'm 100% behind you on that. If you can keep Sam Darnold and build around him, we've seen somebody who has actually – we've seen other quarterbacks who was in that same draft with him, build around their young quarterback. Lamar Jackson was an MVP because they built a team around him. Josh Allen looking like an MVP because they built the team around him. Baker Mayfield is in the playoffs at 10-3 or 10-4, whatever his record is, because they built a team to his skill set. Jets build the team around your young franchise quarterback. That's what he needs. If you build a team around your young franchise quarterback, if you ain't getting Trevor Lawrence, that's what I would do. Build a team around my young franchise quarterback with the assets that I got. I would trade out of that pick again because people are going to want to jump up to get that other quarterback, whichever one it is, whether it's Zach or if it's Justin.
Zach, whether it's Justin, and then you're going to have teams that need to move up to get a Ja'Marr Chase because he's going to go fast, and guys are constantly needing weapons. So make a decision right now. What it is that you're going to do moving forward, because April will be here before you know.
If I'm you, the Jets, I'm gonna tell you this though. If a team want to take my spot to take Ja'Marr Chase, you need to give me a lot because he is on my board. He is on my board. If you want to jump up ahead of me to get that guy, I need a couple. I need a couple first rounders. So, but I'm with you. The crazy let me see if I actually had that question on tab. I don't know if I put it in there. Yep, I do. So let's jump right into it. Transition. Do the Jags actually draft Trevor Lawrence?
I want to say yes. I want to say yes because I feel like they still could use a quarterback. Mm-hmm. I know Garner has been good, but I feel like he's no Trevor, of course. So yeah, I would say yes. Draft Trevor. If I'm the Jags, I'm gonna draft Trevor #1 overall and move on from there.
I'm gonna tell you this. I think if a guy doing who your quarterback is, if it ain't named one of those young quarterbacks, you get the opportunity to get Trevor Lawrence. I don't care if it's Gardner Minshew. I don't give a guy doing who it is. You take him. But the reason I asked that, do they actually draft Trevor Lawrence? Because I think they'll get a quarterback. But I also think that they can do what we just said. Shop that pick, maybe move back, and get another quarterback that you may feel as though that you like. Because I think that the Jaguars are actually building something. We didn't know what the hell they were doing early on when they were getting rid of all these players, but they found a nice running back who's going to have who actually has 1,000 yards rushing. They got a wide receiver who, if he had a quarterback to get him the ball, he would actually be solid. They have pieces. They have building blocks. So maybe they can actually shop that pick and figure out what direction they can go in and still get their quarterback.
Honestly, I like the receiving core. I think the receiving core is good. It's young, but I think it's really good. I think they found something in Robinson at running back. You still have a couple of guys on defense.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the quarterback is really the position that they really need to address. So it depends on if you want a veteran or a rookie. Like you can go out and sign a veteran and bring him in, but is that still towards your future?
Yeah.
So to me, I think for them, it's best to draft Trevor if they get the number 1 pick. Now, if they get number 2, I feel like they should be what the Jets do. What the Jets should do. You trade her off for multiple picks. If I'm that number 2, I'm trading her off for multiple picks because to me, you're not going to find a quarterback at the level of Trevor. And then I feel like you can get quality across the board at every other position now. And majority of the time, it's just a lot of depth. I think there's going to be a lot of depth at O-line, a lot of depth at receiver, a lot of depth at running back, a lot of depth at defensive back. You name it, there's going to be a lot of depth coming into the NFL draft. Quarterback is the one position where you've got to hit a home run. If you miss on a quarterback, that can set you back 10 years.
I'm with you.
So I think Trevor is really the only guy that is probably a surefire thing. I think everybody else is a question mark. Even the kid from North Dakota State, can't think of his name right now.
Trey Lance.
Yes, like everybody's really a project or a question mark. You know what I mean? Like, but then you got guys like Jalen Hurts. He was a question mark. Jalen's proven to not be a question mark. He's looking really, really good. So we could take a chance and maybe take a Jalen Hurts, but right now Trevor looks like to be the only surefire thing at the quarterback position. Everybody else is a question mark because Justin Fields again, he did not look good again. So
listen, I'm with you. I'm with you as far as the Jets, or if Trevor's there, like you have to. He's a surefire. I think he's a once in a lifetime generational talent. If I'm the Jets, I think. If I'm the Jags, I do think about it. The reason I want to think about it because I want to play a game with you. I want to play pick 'em right with quarterbacks. So I want to go back to all quarterbacks that's in the league right now. Let's go to Baker draft. Would you rather have Lamar or Josh?
Lamar or Josh?
I'm gonna make it a little bit easier for you real quick because I feel as though the point I want to get to, I feel as though that I can make it with both quarterbacks. So I'm gonna ask you this: would you rather have Lamar or Baker?
I'd rather have Lamar.
Okay. Deshaun Watson or like this one tough too. This one's super easy. Let's go Deshaun Watson or Joe Burrow.
Deshaun.
Would you rather have Russell Wilson or Tom Brady? Fine. Both 28. Both have Bill Belichick. because I ain't gonna talk about Tom Brady without Bill Belichick. Or both got Pete Carroll. Don't matter.
Give me Tom.
Okay. Tua or Justin?
Right now, give me Justin.
Got you. Got a couple more. Man, this one tough. This one is tough, but it's not tough. But I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. Aaron or Mike?
Vic?
Mm-hmm.
I'm taking Vic over anybody.
Okay. Hey, listen,
and that has nothing to do with like greatness. It's his, and the reason why I probably take Lamar over anybody, their dynamic ability and their dual threat is just different. Like they're home run hitters at the quarterback position with their feet. That's different. That's something you can't teach, and it's something you have to defenses have to constantly game plan for, because at any given moment he could take off with his legs and score a touchdown from anywhere on the field. Sorry, Peyton. Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Brett. Sorry, John Elway. Sorry, all of you guys. I'm taking that dynamic over you in any era, especially in today's era is built around speed. That's it. Which is why Derrick Henry looks like a man-child, because he's playing against smaller D linemen, smaller linebackers, smaller D-backs. Taking nothing from him, he's phenomenal. I think he's built for the 80s and 90s, but he looks even better today because of his size in comparison to, his competitors. But Lamar and Mike Vick's athletic ability and their big play ability separates them from everybody else other than maybe Randall Cunningham. So
I got two more for you, and then we're gonna segue into why I brought it up, and you basically just hit on it. This is why we go, because he didn't know nothing about what he just said. He didn't know nothing about what I was transitioning to or what I asked, what I was going to ask him. So, Kyler Murray or trying to think of another guy that's playing the pocket. Doesn't really matter. You're probably gonna pick Kyler Murray. And Andrew Luck or RG3.
I'm gonna take Andrew. I'm gonna take Andrew Luck.
Cool. So the reason I asked that is because I was talking to my Eagles fans, and people are still not sold on Jalen Hurts. And the reason that I want to ask you those questions is because in today's game, Jalen Hurts is what it's trending to. It's trending for more players like Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying Jalen Hurts can't beat you from the pocket. He Sunday, he looked like he can beat you either way. You want to make him throw, he can beat you doing that. You want to make him run, he can beat you doing that as well. So I asked that, and I wanted to ask you, should the Jags actually consider taking Trevor, or should they consider taking Justin Fields, because of where the game is trending. The game is trending more towards a more athletic quarterback that can actually run and make plays with their legs and still beat you with their arm. And I want to ask you, should teams trend towards taking those type of guys or taking the traditional pocket guy who can beat you from the pocket?
I think it depends on your team, to be completely honest with you. I believe that if if you want to get a quarterback that's going to be dynamic that way, you have to be able to utilize him correctly. Meaning, you can't be asking him to throw the ball from the pocket 40, 50 times, 20. Anything over 25 times is probably too much as far as him dropping back and throwing the ball, which to me means you don't need big receivers outside. You're gonna need quick, shifty receivers that can move, get out of places. I think that who's the big receiver for the Chiefs? Sammy?
Even Sammy ran like a 4.4, 4.3, something like that, didn't he?
You know what I mean? Like Sammy's probably their big receiver.
He's probably,
you know what I mean? Yeah, Travis Kelce is probably the big receiver, which is what the league is really trending towards anyway. That the tight end is the big receiver in the receiving core, and then you have the smaller, faster, shifty guys. But you can't have this guy be what he's not, which is I think Arizona's not asking Kyler to be what he's not. I don't think that Houston's asking Deshaun to be what he's not. I do believe that Baltimore is starting to trend away from stopping to ask Lamar to be what he's not. That's the only problem. If you're going to draft these guys, don't try to mold them into something that they're not. You drafted them because of that reason. Use them for that same reason. That's the only problem. I have no issue with drafting a pocket passer because I just think that they're still going to be really, really good. Mm-hmm. Like, it's a passing league. So if you can drop back and throw the ball 40, 50 times and dice people up, go for it. Here's the difference. You still have to have a little bit of mobility these days. The days of the stand up straight, no mobility guy, those days are numbered. You're not gonna last long unless you have an exceptional offensive line in front of you. Because again, I just talked about it. Linebackers, defensive linemen, they're smaller, they're quicker, but they still hit the same. Mm-hmm. They're still hitting with the same power. They're just in a smaller package. So I think the days of the stand-up traditional Tom Brady is the last of a dying breed. That's it. He's the last of his kind. Everybody else, these guys, they can move it. Like Justin Herbert can move.
Yep. So can Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow can move. Even Carson can move. Yep. Like Tom Brady is probably the last of his kind as far as not being able to move. I think that's Aaron Rodgers, probably his greatest asset. Everybody always talks about his arm. I think it's his ability to, move up in the pocket, slide out to the right, slide out to the left, and improvise and create. I think that's Aaron Rodgers' greatest asset, even though he's not the greatest athlete.
I'm with you. Because listen, you picked a couple. You picked Joe Burrow. You picked. I didn't mention Josh Allen, but that's why I didn't really mention Josh Allen because Josh Allen is Cam Newton 2.0.
I'm gonna say Josh Allen the best running back on his team.
Josh Allen Cam Newton 2.0. You know what I mean, with a big arm and I mean he will run you. He will run you smooth over. He loves that. So. I say that to like you said, even with Carson does do those things. But I'm glad that you touched on one thing. You said one thing. You have to play to their strengths. If you're going to get these quarterbacks, you have to play to their strengths, no matter who they are. Me personally, I would prefer, like, I didn't do Lamar and Josh, but if I had to, I would probably pick Lamar because Lamar is more dynamic. He has a big arm as well. And if you can train him to do like they trained Josh Allen because Josh Allen was a 50% completion passer. Now he's a 70% completion passer. But he also got him a weapon to become a 70% completion passer. If you can do that with Lamar Jackson, there's nobody that can stop him. There's nobody that can stop him now. But if you can train him to be a 70%, like last year he was a 64% completion passer, but he threw 3,200 yards. If he can throw for 5,000 and rush 4,000,
MVP every year.
Every year, like what? There's nothing you can take away from this guy. He's a legit running back and a quarterback built in one. He's a creative player. He is what you create on Madden outside of the height, because we be creating like 7-foot quarterbacks or 7-foot D-backs who can run and hit and do it all. Like you got 7-foot Deion Sanders out there. So he is everything you ask for in Madden if you can get him to complete a 70% of the pass. It's over. Just like Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray isn't as dynamic as Lamar Jackson, but Kyler Murray can throw that. He throws that ball, but he also runs. I'm with you. Yep. But that's why I said, man, if the Jags can get that and turn Justin Fields into that, that'd be scary.
Yeah.
But I'm still not passing on Trevor Lawrence, because he is. You can't teach speed. So Trevor Lawrence is fast as he's going to be.
Yeah.
But he a big arm. He got a big arm. He is that guy. He's a prototypical quarterback. But if you can get Justin Fields to be with that speed and to be as accurate as or be the quarterback that Trevor Lawrence is, you might got something there. So that's why I asked. That's why I want to. You know what I mean? Let's transition to basketball real quick. We got a couple of things that are on tap. I want to talk about these contract extensions real quick. Just want to touch on some of the minor ones, then hit you with the big one at the end. So Kyle Kuzma got his money, 3 years, $40 million. Do you think that was a good move, bad move for him and the Lakers, or a good move for him? Bad move for the Lakers, good move for the Lakers, good move for him. Bad move for him. How you think about that?
I think it was a good move for both. Because this was a kid that had tremendous trade value coming into last year.
Mm-hmm.
His trade value dwindled off. I think the contract spoke for itself. So here's a guy that's gonna have to prove something. And also, LeBron isn't gonna stick around for forever. So if you still, and Kuzma's still young,
mm-hmm.
I still think he's a good basketball player. If he gets his head right, I think he was kind of overwhelmed with the two guys in front of him, and I think he kind of fell back. I think he gets himself together. He can still be a really good player and a piece for them either in the future or a piece to move to build to get other assets. So I think it's a good move for both him and the franchise because he's got something to prove, and they also are able to get a guy that they can either keep for the future or move if necessary, especially with that contract. That's a great contract to move.
I'm with you. I think it was a good move for the Lakers. I think it was a bad move for Kyle Kuzma because I still don't think he will showcase himself enough to – well, just contract-wise. I think one of the reasons why I think he actually stayed to win the championship. I think that he feels though the Lakers are going to be able to compete for that within that window. And then maybe later on he can go and cash out later on. Like you say, he is still young. So then maybe later on he can cash out, or maybe feels though LeBron isn't going to be there after 3 years, or he could be older. LeBron, I think, will be 40 after his when Kyle Kuzma's contract is up. And then maybe Kyle Kuzma feels though that I step in to be that secondary guy. Who knows? But I thought when I looked at the numbers, I said Kyle Kuzma. I thought Kyle Kuzma settled, especially looking at some of these other deals that other people got. Looking at like the Markelle Fultz, 3 years, $50 million. Looking at Jonathan Isaac, who got 4 years, $80 million. So Just like Kyle Kuzma may have settled, but maybe he settled to win a championship. Maybe the money wasn't really that big there. But two, well, there's three. Well, there's a couple of them. But a couple of joints that stood out to me, that is the ones that did not sign, as of yet. So John Collins is going to test free agency as a restricted free agent next summer. I think that's a smart move because I would start a bit more for that type of player, and get the most money that you can with John Collins. So I think that was smart. Maybe I think that's smart for the player. Who else? Lonzo Ball. He opted out as well. He's going to test free agency. But three. I'm gonna name three of them, but two of them come from your team, which is important. Which I wanted to touch on and get your opinion on it is Lauri Markkanen. He's going to be a restricted free agent after the end of this year. And as of right now, there's no trade talks with Zach LaVine. I mean, no contract talks with Zach LaVine either. How you feel about that?
It's what I expected. This isn't, what has the Bulls done to for any superstar to take interest in saying I want to stay or I want to come? So show me that you're truly into the business of winning and that you're invested in the business of winning. You brought in Billy Donovan. I guess in NBA circles that's a big hire. I'm not a big fan. I've never been a big fan. Even during his Florida days, I wasn't a big fan. So I don't blame either one of those guys. I don't blame either one of them. I don't blame, Markkanen for saying, I'm gonna test free agency, but he's also got to make sure he can stay healthy because Chicago might be the only team willing to invest a lot of money in you, giving, you could be a health risk. And as far as Zach, I'm not sure if I would want to sign if I'm Zach. I don't really care what y'all do at this point. I might probably be ready to move on if I'm Zach, just because I'm wasting myself here. I'm getting better. I'm clearly getting better, showing to be one of the better players, at least in the East, if not in the entire NBA. I should be an all-star, but I can't be an all-star if we're not winning games.
Mm-hmm.
I'll never be able to get to that supermax level of making an all NBA team and that kind of stuff because I'm not winning games. So he's got to think about his money, got to think about his future, got to think about opportunities. So I don't blame him at all.
I'm gonna tell you this: when Zach LaVine first came in the league, he was known as a high flyer dunker, on 2-slam dunk contest. Last year, that man competed in the 3-point contest. Almost won. He was fourth in the league shooting threes. He gave 25.5 points per game. He gave 5 assists, 5 rebounds a game. He's developed into one of the better players in the NBA. He's only 24 years old. Next step, if he can jump into leadership, defense, Zach LaVine could be a top 10 player in the NBA. You might want to you might want to wrap that. You might want to lock him up, Chicago.
I don't believe it's up to them. I believe that they are all in. I believe the ball is in his court. And again, I cannot blame him one bit. This is a franchise that since Michael Jordan has really only had one true run. And that was with Derrick Rose. You had the little mini run with Ben Gordon and Kirk Hinrich and those guys, with the baby Bulls and everything. But that team wasn't going nowhere.
Actually, but nobody really believed in it.
They weren't going nowhere. So, it was Derrick Rose, and then when he got injured, he didn't believe in Jimmy Butler enough. Didn't believe in Jimmy Butler enough to build around Jimmy Butler. And then you got Zach, and I'm gonna be honest with you. Doesn't feel like you believe in him enough to build around him.
This is what I'm gonna say. Lock him up, Chicago. No matter what it takes.
You better.
The move that you should have made to lock him up, I would have gave whatever what the Lakers gave up to get the Windy City kid. That's what I would have did. What is the Lakers offering to get Anthony Davis? Whatever it takes. And it isn't like y'all don't have the pieces or y'all didn't have the pieces to bring him home. Y'all had every bit of the pieces to bring Anthony Davis home. You just didn't. Y'all had a Lauri Markkanen. Y'all had a Wendell Carter. Y'all continuously have top lottery draft picks.
Yeah.
Continuously. Y'all had every piece that y'all need to bring Anthony Davis home, pair with Zach LaVine, and you didn't. You also had an opportunity to draft a stud in the draft, and y'all didn't. I think that y'all got to figure out a way to keep that guy. Y'all got to figure out a way to keep Zach LaVine.
You would think that would be the top priority, but again, I'm not sure that he wants to stay at this point.
I'm just saying, you got to figure out a way to convince that man. You got to figure out a way to convince him.
I don't know how you convince him.
You got to trade for somebody. You got to bring in somebody who is. You got to bring in somebody to me. You got to bring in somebody who he can say, okay, me and him, we can do something. Not drafting Kobe White and Chris Dunn and having like y'all got a bunch of players that all play the same position. Like when you look at the roster, no shot at your roster. When I look at your roster, I'm looking at Lauri Markkanen, I'm looking at Wendell Carter, I'm looking at Otto Porter Jr., I'm looking at Patrick Williams, who y'all just drafted, Kobe White, Ryan Archie whatever his name is. And I'm like, why would I want to stay with this? Why would I want to stay with this?
Exactly.
I gotta go do something. Another one that stood out to me, and again, it hasn't happened yet, and I think he's still locked up for 2 more years. Joel Embiid can be extended. And there's no report saying that he got his suspension either. He's another one. I don't know if that's a good move for the franchise or a bad move. For some reason, I do think it gets done. But it is interesting to show. Yeah, it is interesting to see that he has the ability to be extended. They have till 12 o'clock at night to extend him. And he hasn't. Same with Steph Curry. Steph Curry hasn't been extended either, but I think that's almost surefire that they're going to. That's guaranteed. So, but the other one that stood out to me, the big one, gotta talk about since we're talking about Steph Curry, Rudy Gobert is the 3rd highest paid player in the NBA. He getting paid more than Donovan Mitchell. He getting paid more than Steph Curry, who he just jumped. He getting paid more. I think he getting paid more than LeBron. What does he do? What does he do? So you're telling me a defensive player, and shout out to Rudy Gobert, he got his money, and maybe this paves the way of how people view defensive players. But is he that? Does he create that big of an impact to command $41 million a year?
For that team, yes.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say overall yes, but for that team, yes. What he does for that team, because again, they're not. When you look at the team on paper, they're not really that good. When you look at their roster, you be like, the team really that good. But for some reason, they continuously are winning, 48, 50 games. For what he does for them defensively, what he does for them in pick and roll, you want to make sure you lock him up. And you got the money, pay him. This is the Jazz have never been and probably never will be. Who wants to go to Salt Lake City? I've never heard anybody say I'm going on vacation to Salt Lake City.
I actually heard it's depressing and they super racist down there. I don't know. I've never been down there, Salt Lake City people. So don't quote me. Don't beat me up. That's what I heard. It could be a very good place.
Yeah, it could be an extremely beautiful place. But again, I've never heard anybody say, like, I'm going to Utah for vacation. So it's not a place where you're going to get free agents. You're probably going to continue to win. So you're probably not going to really be able to get high draft picks in the lottery. So you got to make sure you take care of the guys that you have on that roster. And I just think that's what the Jazz were doing, making sure they took care of their guys. They probably paid him too much.
I'm with you.
But
God, 41 million for Rudy Gobert.
Hey, that's what the market said, man. I don't know what market they were in.
Joel Embiid looked at that thing. He's gonna look at that thing, and then he's gonna look at Daryl Morey.
Which is probably why the Sixers is holding off. Like, man, Utah just threw a monkey wrench in our plan. We can't pay Joel Embiid the same as Rudy Gobert. He gonna laugh at us.
He's gonna look at it like
he's gonna look at you and laugh. Like, really? I'm 10 times better than that guy.
The Joker gets signed, and the crazy thing is, if I'm Anthony Davis, I gotta go back to the Lakers now. Like, yo, did the ink dry? Did the ink dry on my contract? Did the ink dry on my contract? That's how I gotta look. That's how I gotta look at the Lakers now. You see what Rudy Gobert just got? See what he just got?
We need to talk again.
we got to revisit. We got to revisit. The Lakers gonna be like, "Well, you should have hired his. You should have hired his agent.
Hey, should have got traded to Utah."
Something. God, 40. That boy got 41 million. And hey, listen, he had never been a defensive player. He had never been an MVP player of the year. But what I tell people is, like, people always say, "Well, you never win MVPs." For what Rudy Gobert does, that is the MVP. He is the MVP of what he does. He has been the MVP of what he does twice. So maybe people are valuing or actually starting to see the value in what he does, and Utah actually does see the value in what he does. That's why he has he got the contract that he got, and coaches see it, and that's why he's been an All-Star twice. So shout out to Rudy Gobert for getting his money. 41 million, boy. I think 41 million is game changer, and I can't say game changer on both ends because Steph Curry isn't a game changer on both ends. He's a game changer on the offensive end, and Rudy Gobert is a game changer on the defensive end. So he got his money for doing what he does at a high level. Shout out to my man Rudy Gobert. All right, sticking with basketball. Ty Lue said he is going to put Kawhi Leonard in more in I guess he's going to use him in the triangle some this year. Good move, bad move. You're a Bulls fan, so you know it. You come from that triangle.
I think it's a good move. Again, I know a lot of people used to be like, the triangle never works. And I'm like, the triangle is basketball. Like, if, you can get a guy that's functional in the high post, get guys moving off of him. I think it works for both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard because they're both pretty good at mid-range. I think they both are really good passers. So you get guys that can move off of those guys that get the ball in the high post, and the triangle works good. But I think more of it, for me, this wasn't Ty Lue making that statement was more about the Paul George talking about how he was misused last year by Doc Rivers. That's what I thought this was more about than anything else. This was simply Paul George. We're not gonna have you coming off of pin downs this year. All right, shut up. But we're gonna use you pick and roll, probably high post, anything other than pin downs, I guess, because you obviously didn't like the pin downs. So to me, I think it's a good thing, but it only matters if it works. It only matters if the results are what they are looking for, and I'm not sure they're going to get the results that they're looking for.
I am. I agree, because even I thought I was like, because they're going to use clearly, obviously use Paul George in the triangle as well, and I was like, maybe this is what does that say about what Doc? What Doc said? Now, granted, again, probably Lou has to cater to his players now, so I'm with you. Maybe that's just letting Paul George know that, and Ty Lue know that we're gonna use you a little bit differently this year. You know what I mean? So I'm with you. I'm definitely with you on that. Jumping to the NFL real quick before we touch on this college stuff. Actually, no, we're gonna stick with NBA real quick before we move on. Opening day is tomorrow. What you think? What you looking for? What you looking for? This season.
Specifically tomorrow night, Warriors Nets. I'm hearing Draymond might not play. I wanted to see him in KD. That I'm just being real. That was going to be fun. But I want to see KD's health. I want to see how he moves. You know, what type of the preseason to me was you get a glimpse, but it's not the same as the regular season. I want to see how they utilize him as far as his minutes. And then the nightcap, I have no interest in. I'm not interested in seeing the Lakers and the Clippers at all.
Not regular season, at least.
Because the Lakers just gave us a glimpse of what load management is going to be this year, which is you're going to play them for a quarter or a half, and then you'll sit them. So I got a feeling that that's what we're going to see tomorrow night in that game. What I am interested in, though, is the Clippers. How enthused are you going to be? Because it's going to be opening. It's going to be ring night, right? Are they going? Are they getting their rings that fast? Is it? Are they able to get there that fast of a turnaround?
I believe they will. I believe they'll get. If it's in LA, I think they'll get there. I think that. Listen, either way, that banner going to get dropped.
That banner getting dropped. So, how motivated are the Clippers? To me, and this is just me. I'm not saying that they have to do this, but me, I want to punch the Lakers in the mouth tomorrow night. I want to beat them by 30. That's the mentality that I'm going in there with them with, and I don't care who plays. If LeBron and AD don't play, I want to win by 50. But if they do play, I still want to win by 30. I want to send a message right from the beginning that we're on a mission. And we're on the same page, even with all the bickering and everything. The Clippers have a lot to prove, and it starts tomorrow night. The Lakers, I don't expect much from them. I expect them to still be on their high horse, feeling themselves. But I also, if LeBron plays, I also expect them to be business as usual, go out, give a good performance, compete, and have fun. But I want to see KD's health. I want to see Kyrie health. Hopefully Draymond plays. I can see him and KD have a little bit of back and forth. And I really just want to see what the Clippers do, how they come out. The result to me matters, but at the same time, I really don't.
So I'm excited about opening day. I want to see it all. I'm with you. I do want to see KD's health. And does he turn back into form? I also want to see the Steph turn back into form. Yeah, I mean, is Steph back at Steph Curry type level? I want to see James Wiseman. I want to see, is he that guy? In all intents and purposes, a lot of people thought that he was the best player in the draft. If he would have played and stayed at Memphis, he would have been the number 1 overall pick. I wholeheartedly believe that. But because a lot of people didn't see him all year, he only played the 4 games. That's why people really shied away from him. But a lot of people say he is the new age big man. Can block shots, 7'6" wingspan. He's extending his range. He can shoot jumpers. He plays defense. He can rim. He can rim run. A lot of people, and you know me, I'm on wax saying that he is going to win the Rookie of the Year. I've been saying it. I said it all year. I'm still sticking with it. So I want to see him, and I also want to see the new guys. I want to see the new guys. I want to see Andrew Wiggins with Steph Curry. I want to see Kelly Oubre with Steph Curry. What offense do they run? Because the offense that they ran in the preseason with Andrew Wiggins trying to be Klay Thompson, I don't know if that's going to work all year. I don't know if that works all year. Kelly Oubre being Klay Thompson, I don't know if that works all year. But one thing I will say is if they can start hitting those threes, the Warriors have a team where they haven't had in this run, which is scary. They've had monsters. They've had Kevin Durant's, Klay Thompson's, just all around monsters at that position. But they didn't have a team this long. Kelly Oubre, I think he got like a 7-something wingspan. Andrew Wiggins got a 7-foot wingspan. And what's Draymond Green? They said Draymond Green got a 7'2" wingspan. And James Wiseman got a 7'6" wingspan. All those players are super long, super athletic. It's just a totally different team where they have been built so much on skill before, where now they're built on super athletic players outside of Steph. Kelly Oubre will dunk on you and laugh at you. And if you can couple that athleticism with how hard the Warriors play, and if they can get them to buy in skill on a skill position, this could be a even more scarier team pre-KD. Because with KD is unstoppable. But pre-KD, when they had Steph, Klay, when Klay was coming into his zone, and all those other players, Draymond and all those other players, this could be a very scary team if they can actually get them to buy in. So that's what I want to see is what type of offense they have, how they mesh together. But then Nightcap, I'm excited about it. I'm interested in it, and I'm gonna tell you this: if I'm AD and LeBron, I am playing, and I'm going. I load manage my next game. Well, you can't load manage the Christmas game either. But listen, that's open tonight, and then they got 2 days rest before it's Christmas night. So I would play. I would kill the Clippers if I was the Lakers. That's what I would want to do. I would go in there, kill them over the night just to let y'all know y'all still ain't on our level, and there's a reason Montrez came over to this side. But if I'm the Clippers, I'm with you. I'm trying to kill the Lakers by 50, and I'm going to feed Serge Ibaka. I'm gonna feed him. Serge Ibaka probably gonna get 30, and I'm gonna say, we got the better end, Montrez. This is going to be a battle for years to come, man, because it's, again, the big brother versus the little brother, and neither one of them want to give up position. Okay, Lakers, y'all got it last year, but y'all ain't face us. Y'all ain't face us. The Lakers like, don't care if we face y'all. We did what we supposed to do.
You didn't take care of business.
And we took your enforcer. And we took your guy. So I'm excited basketball kick off tomorrow, man. I'm super excited about it. All right, jumping into NFL real quick. Then we go get on tap to this college football. Dang, where do I start? Who's the best team in the NFC? I feel like we ask this question almost every week.
We ask this question every week. And I've been avoiding saying them, so I'm going to have to say them now. I'm going to say the Packers. I've been avoiding saying the Packers, but they have been the most consistent because, again, what happened to Seattle's offense?
The defense played good. The offense looked bad.
The football team could have won that game.
Yep.
Yesterday. And I picked them to win. I thought they were going to win. They could have won that game. I have to say the Packers, man. I want to say the Saints, but I don't trust their defense. Their defense
I'm gonna tell
isn't
you
what they look good against the Falcons 2 games and the Broncos. That's it.
listen, maybe it's to speak on a jinx. Because every time we give somebody that title, it looks bad. Look at what we did to the Bucks. Look what we did to the Bucks.
No, everybody did that to the Bucks. Everybody did that to the Bucks. They're bad. They're bad. They're bad.
Listen,
they needed a miracle to beat the Falcons.
Look what we did to the Rams. We said the Rams could be the best team in this division. They go out there and get beat by the Jets. Saints, they lost the last 2.
One's understandable though. One's understandable.
Yeah, one's understandable.
One's understandable. The Philly game that I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming. The Philly game.
I didn't see it either. I want to hold off and say, listen, I'm with you. By default, you have to say it's the Packers. You have to say it's the Packers, and they're gonna get smacked Sunday because we both picked the Packers against the Titans.
And I don't even like. And that's the thing. I don't like the Packers. I don't believe in the Packers. Not even the size of my faith in them is not even the size of a mustard seed.
Me either.
I have no faith in the Packers. But unfortunately, they're probably playing the best football of anybody in the NFC. So
against the Panthers. They just keep winning. It's by default because they keep winning.
They're taking care of business. So I gotta keep with them.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Packers. But I'm gonna say this: a close second to me is the Saints. I'm not the Saints. It's the Seahawks. It's a close second to me. But I'll say this: let's not sleep on the Cardinals. Let's not sleep on them.
I had to wake me up because I am dead sleep on the Cardinals, bro.
Listen, they can score. They got Kyler. They got DeAndre. Nobody want to face them. Nobody gonna want to face them in the playoffs.
There's nothing scary about them.
Kyler and DeAndre is scary enough.
I'm gonna be honest with you. As great as D-Hop is, as great as he is, he's not scary.
Maybe not with speed.
He's not scary. D-Hop isn't. He's not Randy Moss.
No, because Randy Moss.
He don't strike the fear. Jerry Rice wasn't the speed demon, but Jerry Rice struck fear. D-Hop lines up on the field. He like KD. Like, you know how good he is. You know what I mean? But sometimes you forget he on the field. Sometimes he does get lost. Like Julio, you know where Julio is. You know where he is. D-Hop get lost. But it's more his personality than anything else. And then Collar's quiet too.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But their offense, it's not exciting. It's not exciting at all. I don't believe in a run game. I don't believe in King and Drake.
I got you.
I still think they're missing one more weapon on the outside.
I got you.
One more weapon on the outside, because I don't think they can go. I don't think they have the offense to consistently beat a Seattle team, especially with the defense that they're starting to play in Seattle. I don't trust them to go in Lambeau and win either. That's the only thing with the Cardinals. But I'm with you. They're just as good as anybody else. They're just as good as anybody else. You know what else is crazy? We talk about the NFC. Are the Cowboys getting ready to win the NFC East? Is that what's getting ready to happen?
Somebody got to win it.
I'm trying to. Is the Cowboys? Is it going to be the Cowboys?
No. It's gonna be the football team. It's gonna be the football team because the Eagles are gonna be the Cowboys.
Are they?
Yes. Eagles gonna be the Cowboys.
Y'all keep losing more and more guys on defense. That's just.
I just think they'll be up for that. They'll be up for that game. Maybe the football team will beat us in the last game. You know how I feel. I feel that we should lose out, and if we lose out, then maybe the Cowboys will get in. But I just don't see. I think that it's the football team's job to lose.
The Giants are done. They had no. The Giants are done.
I think the Giants are done. They got 2 tough games, which I can't see them winning. I think they got the Raiders and the Browns, if I'm not mistaken. And I can't see them winning either of those games. Again, the team that I think that has the best chances is the football team. They play the Eagles. They play the Panthers. I think that those are both winnable games. Here's what I'll say. Yeah, here's what I'll say. The Cowboys again, they're up and down. The most consistent team in this division is
the football team.
The football team, and I'm gonna tell you this: they got a quarterback, just half decent quarterback. If they got a Trent Dilfer, they might do something. If they have a Trent Dilfer or Brad Johnson, they might do something.
I tell you what. That is a team that is in a situation where winning is probably a bad thing for them because that moves them further down the list of drafting a quarterback.
Here's the funny thing, real quick, based off what you said, right? I got a cousin. I'm in the group chat, right? I got a cousin who's a football team fan, and every week he like, man, you see. We still in first place. Somebody got to bring prestige back to this division. And I'd be like, are the football team fans really this delusional? Prestige? Bruh. You're going to win the division at 7-9. Just lose and get the draft spot. Just lose and get the draft spot. If I was anybody in this, like, we hear Zeke, oh, we're going to make a run. Make a run?
For what?
For what? For what? Man, everybody in this division. Now, this is what I'll say.
Everybody but the Giants have quarterback questions.
And I was going to say, there's 2 teams I think that if Alex Smith comes back healthy and he can just game manage, don't turn the ball over or anything like that, he could probably win a playoff game. He could probably win a playoff game.
He could.
Against the teams that's going to be in there. We've seen him yesterday with Dwayne Haskins almost beat Seattle.
At home.
At home.
They have a home playoff game.
I've seen the Giants go in with Colt McCoy and beat Seattle. So it's just who you draw, because I feel as though if the Giants or the football team draw any other team, they're gonna have a tough night. Maybe if they draw Tom Brady in them, that'd be they could possibly play against them or maybe compete with them. But other than that, maybe it's gonna be a one and done. And I would rather have the position to make my team better than to be a one and done that bad. Like, it's clear the Eagles need way more than just that one player. Yeah. And to jump from 19th to 10th, the 4th or the 5th, something like that, those were the game-changing players are. So, who is the MVP at the moment right now at this point? I feel it's another question that we ask all the time, but it changes week to week, and my pick has changed as well.
Mine hasn't. It's still the quarterback in Kansas City.
Mine has changed, and it's the running back in Tennessee. He's the MVP right now, my opinion. What he's doing, and I think he's going to project. He may rush for 2,000 yards, 20 touchdowns. Like you said he's a throwback. He's a throwback, and I think we're going to get throwback numbers from him. I think right now he's at 1,600 yards rushing. He's trending almost 20 touchdowns. 20 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. I just think if anybody can do it, it's that guy, and I think he's been doing it. We know, like, when we talk about that dude in Kansas City, he got a track team out there, and he got a guy on his team that could also probably be Offensive Player of the Year, and Tyreek Hill got 15, 16 touchdowns receiving. He got Travis Kelce, who was leading the league in receiving yards as a tight end. So you got three players right there. We know what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is. We know what Le'Veon Bell is. So you got all these weapons to choose from. In Tennessee, you know what's going to happen. You know what's going to happen. Even when they down by 20 points, you still know what's going to happen. We're going to give it to Derek. We're going to run this ball. And we're going to ride Derek. I think Derrick Henry can – right now, if I had a vote, it would be Derrick Henry. Because I know exactly who he is. I know what he does. And you still can't stop him. He is the guy. So I know Aaron Rodgers is the guy in Green Bay, but they also got a monster in Devontae Adams. I know Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football, but he also probably has the best wide receiver in football right now as well. He also probably has the best tight end in football as well. He also probably has the best offensive line in football as well. So Derrick Henry seeing 8, 9, 10-man boxes.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. But I do think that Derrick Henry is not a one-man band as much as we want to make him out to be. I think that passing game has gotten a lot better. Not saying that he's still not seeing 8, 9-man boxes, because I know he still is. I see it. But that passing game has been really, really effective. Ryan Tannehill is looking good. Like you said earlier, in a normal year, where if quarterbacks ain't on whose numbers aren't going nuts, Ryan Tannehill is probably in the conversation for MVP. I just think that Patrick Mahomes has more impact on his team and the outcome than Derrick Henry does.
Ooh.
I just think that he does. I think Patrick Mahomes, the way he can control a game, like they go on a 4-minute offense throwing the ball sometimes.
Not sometimes. Like they iced the game yesterday. Throwing the ball. The way he can manage the clock himself. Like there's so many things that he does that probably won't show up on a stat sheet. You know, and I just think that to me is what separates him and Aaron Rodgers from everybody else and it's in the MVP conversation. Derek, not taking anything from him, but he got one job. He do that job well, though, man.
When we put the ball in your belly, run over a couple people, get us some yards. That's it. He don't got to manage the game. He don't have to worry about the clock. He don't have to make checks and audibles at the line of scrimmage. Like, there's so many other things that Patrick and Aaron does. Because to me, it's Patrick, but I'm leaning towards Aaron.
I'm with you with that as well.
I'm saying Patrick, but I'm leaning slightly towards Aaron, ever so slightly. It's like 55-45 right now. Like I'm leaning more and more towards Aaron, and that's the only reason that I'm picking them over Derek.
I got you.
It's because of how they have to manage the game as well, and that's why I'm saying they have more impact on the game and the outcome of the game than Derek. That's all.
I get it because you're saying they got to do too much. They got to do more. But like we said earlier when we were talking about Mac Jones, put in players in their proper lane and perspective, not taking anything away from Aaron Rodgers, who is a GOAT, not taking anything away from Patrick Mahomes, who's probably the best player in football right now. But Derrick Henry, again, we could say like that offense of that passing game. I think that passing game is predicated based off of what Derrick Henry does. Derrick Henry makes that passing game go. Ryan Tannehill is not a traditional drop back quarterback. It's all based off play action rollouts. That's why he's having an MVP type season, which is why Mac Jones is having the Heisman type season because of based off of the running game. And I think and I disagree with you as far as when we talk about managing the game. I think Derrick Henry, he doesn't make checks or anything like that. But I think they lean on him to manage the game. Derrick,
they lean on him, but he doesn't have to make no decisions.
I got you.
He don't have to make no decisions about it. That's all I'm saying.
Man. He do gotta make a decision. Do I run this guy over? Do I stiff arm this guy? do I hit that hole? Do I make this juke? What do I do? Like he gotta make some kind of decisions, man. Listen, stiff arm Derrick. That should go. That should go to. That should move.
Like Ryan Tannehill has 3,500 yards, 31 TDs, and 5 picks.
Yeah, I told you, man. Listen,
that's an MVP type season, you know. So, like, again, and that's all, and that is majority as a result of the threat of Derrick Henry. I get it, man. I get it. If they give it to Derrick Henry, I have no argument against it. No argument against it at all, man, because, again, I don't think running backs get their just due. I really don't think they get their just due. But
I'm with you as far as I think a quarterback will win it. I just want to campaign for my man Derrick Henry because running backs are devalued, especially a throwback running back like this. Like Derrick Henry doesn't catch the ball. Derrick Henry has 130 yards receiving. Oh no, that's his projection. 130 yards is his projection. He got 114 yards receiving. He got 19 receptions in a game where if you're a dual threat running back, you ain't gonna get that much love. So you really ain't got no value.
You really don't get on the field much.
What he's doing as a pure runner, not catching the ball, a running back. He is the epitome of what a running back is. You're a running back. We hand you the ball to run. He's doing that, man. He's doing it at a high level, and he got his team like. That's gonna be a scary team in the postseason. That's gonna be a scary team because they can play in all weather. They can play, and if it's snowy outside, I'm gonna give it to him 40 times.
And when it's cold and you're tired, you don't want to keep having to tackle that guy.
We seen it last year, and again, we seen it last year, and again, I don't care what nobody say. The Titans should have beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
sorry, they should have beat them. They were up. Derrick Henry was wearing them out. Then the Titans couldn't tackle. Gave them life. Rest is history.
Yep.
They don't want to see that team. So I want to give my man some love. I want to give Derrick Henry some love. All right. So now to the exciting part of the show. College football. So nothing's changed at the top. Nothing's changed. We talked about a little bit on Saturday. After we saw what happened. Are you cool with the four teams?
No, I'm not cool with the four teams. I haven't had Ohio State in my my five all year. I just don't believe that this year, given what they've done, that they should have been in over Cincinnati. I thought Cincinnati should have been the fourth team, in my opinion, over Ohio State. But I can understand why Ohio State's in there, and I definitely believe that Ohio State is one of the four best teams in the country. So I have no problem with it. I just didn't. I just didn't think Ohio State should have got it in there, given what they had done up until this point. And the rankings itself, there was a lot of it in there that was just straight jokes, in my opinion. But again, I think it was funny. I was watching the reveal yesterday, and I thought Joey Galloway said it best. I think the committee should just go ahead and tell the group of five teams, you're not invited. There's nothing you can do to get in. You might as well just go ahead and tell them that and move on, so that way that they know that they need to go ahead and try to put together their own national championship of group of five teams or non-power five national championship or something like that, because at this point there's nothing that they can do. You're talking about a pandemic year and you had two undefeated teams and in the group of five, I'm sorry, multiple undefeated teams out of the group of five, and none of them were even in the vicinity of getting in. And to think that Florida lost back-to-back weeks, and in the final standings they were still ahead of Cincinnati.
Let me ask you, what was Florida ranked last week? 6?
7.
7?
Yep.
And they lost, and they remain in 7th, right?
Yep.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm gonna tackle this piece by piece. I'm with you with the top 4. I feel as though that Saturday's showing for Ohio State was even more reason why they should have got knocked out. Me and you both legit talked about it on Saturday. I thought Northwestern legit had an opportunity to win this game. They had every opportunity to win this game. Every opportunity. Don't turn the ball over, which you did, because you was dominating that game. They were legit dominating that game. But turnovers is what kept Ohio State in the game. Score touchdowns instead of field goals, and you win that game. And then you came in as a run-stopping team. You can stop the run. This man went for 334 on you.
Trey Sermon just became he probably just got on somebody's board now. He was falling off. He was falling off after he transferred from Oklahoma. He was not having a good year at Ohio State, and then he just did that in the Big Ten championship, and all of a sudden he's ascending again.
He's gonna ascend. Trey Sermon legit just jumped up to like somebody. He's somebody third best running back in this draft class.
He's getting ready to go in the second or third round now.
So, but that wasn't a good showing for me for Ohio State. That wasn't a good showing to me at all. I know they won the game, and Northwestern was 14th, but that just shows to me that that's bias. That was a SEC bias. They legit pinned Ohio State as the team, not SEC, but a Big Ten bias. Name recognition. They pinned Ohio State as the team to represent in that first spot. And anything that they did other than a loss is what they would have been in there. They haven't been lighting it up for the past couple of games. The two teams that they played that were ranked teams, I feel as though that the other teams were better teams. They couldn't find a way to close. They couldn't find a way to close. The other team I told you before, I didn't think Notre Dame should have got in. Because Notre Dame clearly I think the touchdown at the end was a garbage touchdown. It was a garbage touchdown. They was legit getting dominated, 31-3. The last touchdown was a garbage touchdown. And then to go in and make the playoffs. When I look at the playoffs, I think about matchups. And I think Clemson plays Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think Clemson is going to destroy Ohio State. They just are. I just see Northwestern. I think Clemson has a better defense. And they got a better quarterback. They got the best quarterback in football. I think they're going to destroy them, especially if Justin Fields keep doing what he's doing. You think Trey Sermon going to save you against Clemson? That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. Clemson going to light them up. And I don't want to see that. And then when I look about Bama, you thought Clemson offense was something. Now you got to go play that offense? I don't want to see that.
I'm with you. Like, is Bama going to roll Notre Dame? More than likely. More than likely. But Notre Dame deserved to be in there. I felt like what they did during the regular season, they did enough to get in.
Which is they did enough. I'm with you.
But again, this is why 4 is not enough.
Yeah.
Because they deserve to be there. Unfortunately, they took the last spot from other teams that are just as deserving as they are. If you expand the field, I don't think Notre Dame will be 4.
Mm-mm.
If you expand that field, I don't see Notre Dame being 4. I see Texas A&M moving at 4.
Okay.
If you expand it to 8, I see Texas A&M moving in at 4, and I see Oklahoma probably moving in at 5.
That's what
and Notre Dame sliding down to 6. But you can only put 4 teams in, and given the season that they had, their one loss was a terrible loss
in the championship game.
In a championship game. That's it. You picked the wrong time to get blown out. You picked the wrong time. You should have got blown out in the first time you played Clemson. If you got blown out the first time you played Clemson, and then you gave a tough effort and you lost in the conference championship game, the way you lost in the first game, people might not even been arguing. But you didn't look good at all on Saturday. You didn't even look like you belonged on the same field as Clemson. And Clemson is not yet the well-oiled machine that Alabama is offensively, because Clemson they don't have the skill players, and they've had to deal with COVID, unlike Alabama's hasn't had to really deal with COVID on their offensive side of the ball.
Man, I just see
Clemson,
DeVonta Smith. I just see DeVonta Smith and Najee Harris.
Boring.
I just see them.
More storylines, man. It's going to be another Clemson-Alabama national championship.
It is. That's what it's going to be. But I'm glad you hit on. I would have rather see Alabama, Oklahoma, the way Oklahoma playing right now, the way their offense is humming right now. I would have rather seen that, and their defense is actually playing okay too. I would have rather seen that.
With JT Daniels, I think I'd like to see what Georgia got now.
I'd rather see Georgia versus Clemson over Ohio State and Clemson.
I'd rather see Cincinnati in there.
Shoot. I'm with you. I would rather see Cincinnati. I would rather see Florida Clemson. I'd rather see Florida Clemson.
Yeah.
So I know Florida got 3 losses. But their losses, man, like the one loss is unexcusable. Shoot. 2 of the losses is unexcusable. But the way they played Bama, man, having an opportunity to win that game, that was exciting to me. So I'm with you. Let's jump real quick to some of these bowl games. And I want to get your thoughts. We ain't got a pick because we're gonna have a pick on this weekend. But some of these bowl games is exciting me, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. UCF BYU. That's gonna be exciting. That's gonna be an exciting shootout.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun.
Gonna be a fun, exciting
one that jumped off the page to me was Liberty in
oh my god. Yes.
Coastal Carolina. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to that game.
The other one, I'm gonna tell you one that jumped off the page. We're gonna get our wish. Can Cincinnati compete with the Power 5 teams? Cincinnati, Georgia. And you just said it. This is a different Georgia team with JT Daniels in there.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati, we're gonna see. We're gonna see can you compete. Another one, two teams that this game, if you said we had this game 3 weeks ago, I'm like, that's the game. That's a game right there. Now it's like Marshall, Buffalo. All right. Like because listen, they was two exciting teams. One of them was ranked, the other one had the monster running back. Now it's like I don't know what team's gonna show up.
I'm with you. I think who did oh man, I was thinking about them.
I'm gonna tell you one that's gonna be lit. It's probably gonna be the best bowl game. Oklahoma State plays
Miami, right?
Play Miami, yep.
Okay.
That is gonna be strength versus strength. That's gonna be strength versus strength. And I'm that's an exciting game as well. But the one that's probably gonna be the best out of all the games is Florida, Oklahoma. Florida, Oklahoma is going to be a game. That's going to be a shootout right there. Like, I know they ain't got the over and unders on here, but Kyle Trask, Spencer Rattler.
I think that game in the Texas A&M North Carolina game.
Yes, forgot about that game too.
Those are the two games to me where we can start looking at the conferences as powers. So I think that's going to be huge when you start thinking about who got in, who didn't get in, why they didn't get in. So, because A&M got to prove something. Mm-hmm. They haven't beat a good team, in my opinion, all year other than Florida, and that wasn't Florida's best performance. So they got to put up against North Carolina.
I agree. And listen, the way Sam Howell and them can throw the ball, I heard somebody say, Sam Howell, based off what he can do, you could be looking at him as the next Heisman Trophy winner next year. And I'm going to tell you this. With Sam Howell, Spencer Rattler, you could be looking at one of them being the next quarterback to go first overall. When they come out. One of them, when they come out, one of them can go. That can be the debate. 1-2. If they come on the same draft, you can figure out who's gonna go where. 1-2.
How's a sophomore, right?
How's a sophomore? Okay. Yep, Rattler's a senior. So say Howell stay 2 more years, and Rattler come out, and then Rattler come out his junior year. Howell come out his senior year. That can be crazy. But yep, I think that's all we have for y'all today. Final thoughts. My final thoughts, man, is bowl season. It's bowl season, which to me, this is where you make a name for yourself. This is where you start to figure out draft position. Like, well, he gonna be locked up as a top 10 pick anyway. But Kyle Pitts opted out. So I don't think he could have hurt or helped himself. I think Kyle Trask, he go out here, put out a performance against Oklahoma. That's when you position yourself to say, can he be a first round quarterback? Bowl season, man. It's bowl season. And I'm gonna say, take a quote from my man T.O. Get your popcorn ready, because we just mentioned these bowls. It's gonna be some fireworks, and it's gonna be some good football. I like the way that's one of the things. I don't know who put the bowls together. If it's the committee, but if the committee put the bowls together, that's one of the things they got right.
My fun thought, it's kind of you brought up T.O. and my final thought is on my man Randy Moss, saying that he the best receiver ever, and Jerry Rice was third or fourth. Moss, my guy. Nah, buddy. You can say you won, but if you're gonna say you won, you gotta say Jerry too. You're not gonna say Jerry third or fourth, bro. Like that's just not gonna fly. I don't think people going to. A lot of people disagree with you about Jerry not being one and you being one, but nobody is going to agree with you on Jerry being third or fourth.
Listen,
no way is Jerry third or fourth, bro.
Sound like we gotta do a show. Sound like we gotta do a list. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like we gotta do a list. So maybe on the heels of that, maybe we do a top 10 wide receiver list on Wednesday. Maybe that's something we'll do. Maybe something we'll do.
We can do it.
Cause listen, Jerry, I got some numbers to back my man Randy Moss. I might got some numbers to back my man Randy Moss.
But you have no numbers. You have no numbers.
I got some numbers to back my man Randy Moss.
No numbers to back that up. You only got eye tests to back that up. Because Jerry's numbers dwarfs Randy Moss's numbers.
Listen.
Even in a pass-happy league, no one's coming close to Jerry's receiving yards now. Let's save it. Let's save it for the show.
Let's save it.
Let's end this. Let's save it for the show.
I'm excited about that, man. I'm excited about that. Hey, listen, that's our show for y'all today. As y'all can see, I got these kids running around in the background. You'll probably see them jumping somewhere. But hey, if y'all like the show, make sure y'all go subscribe to all our platforms, YouTube, Facebook, whatever it is. If you want to be on the show, cultural awareness or even sports talk, let us know. DM us on any of our platforms. Upcoming shows, cultural awareness. We got a jam-packed show for y'all in 2021. I'm excited that y'all definitely want to be a part. Wednesday show, I want y'all to tune in. We got a doctor coming on the show talking to y'all about the coronavirus and the vaccine. Y'all definitely want to tune in because that's something that's happening right now, y'all. Everybody is affected. I don't care if you have it, you know somebody who has it. And if you don't know somebody who has it, or if you haven't having it, either way, you've been impacted by it some way. So definitely tune in just to get some knowledge and figure out how the vaccine going to work and what the projections are going to be with COVID moving forward. So that's a show that y'all definitely want to tune into. That's all I got. If you got anything else, all right. Hey, listen, that's our show again. Until next time, y'all, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Speak on.
Peace.